Ariella Maron, and I am co-teaching the the Green New Deal practicum.
The practicum looks to dissect the text of the Green New Deal and put it in the perspective of planners and how planners or city government staff, whether they're land use planners, policy folks, would go forward with implementing specific actions and initiatives that support the objectives of the Green New Deal. So taking something that is a larger set of objectives, like a strategy guidance document, and bring it down to, well, what does that mean for the people responsible for implementing this at different scales? The class has a lot of international students, but also a lot from different parts of the US. And so it allowed us to both step away from the politics into the ideals and actions, but also bring in the reality that politics plays on the Green New Deal at the same time. Having it focused on something at the federal scale was very interesting because a lot of land use planning happens at the local level, regional, and some aspects are at the state level, but not the federal. So seeing how something at the federal level translates into the work that planners does is really interesting. And if you actually read the text of the Green New Deal and a lot of the proposals coming out from different political candidates related to the Green New Deal, you'll notice many leave out the role of local government, and many planners either work for local government or work as consultants to local government, or developers who are working within local government context, which added to the interesting perspective of the class. I knew going in that the complexity of the changes that need to happen would make a linear course narrative a little bit challenging, because we're not talking about, just zoning. We're not talking about just the design of buildings. We're talking about changing the planning paradigm that almost everything we do occurs within. We're talking about changing our infrastructure and how that relates to people and how that takes into account equity, how our financial markets work, how our transportation decisions, all these different systems that are fully interrelated. We wanted to help the students figure out how to approach changing so many systems at the same time at so many scales. And so we knew it was going to be challenging. What's been amazing is how quickly the students grasp that challenge and really been able to be both imaginative but really practical at the same time. At the beginning, as with a lot of classes, we made sure we shared a lot of basic concepts. So at the beginning, the discussions were a little bit lighter because you could see the kids were still wrestling with all the different concepts and how they come together. As I mentioned earlier, it's all very complex. But as the course continued, we had more and more time for discussions, and the students really started to feel comfortable with the concepts and comfortable asserting their opinions and ideas. And it's been really amazing to watch that happen. And while there's still a sense that we're still talking to at least politically, and that itself is not a recipe for success, we're at a point where I think we're ready to transition over the last few weeks of the class to allow us to then get into the thornier issues of what happens when we talk to difference. The role of planners has always been a really interesting role. We're not the designers necessarily, although often we play that role. We're not the architects, where you have the star architects who get a lot of attention. We're often the people in the background, but it's a profession that requires understanding how different systems come together. How transportation and infrastructure and land use and housing and social services and open space and markets all come together, and it does so in a way that positions people at the center of it. And what we've been learning over the last few decades is how important climate action work must also understand different systems and center people at the middle of it. And finding the right role, or at least understanding the types of roles that planners can play in moving forward the ideals of the Green New Deal, which is centering people as we're trying to shift many systems at once, is not an easy task. But with this class, we've been able to help students see a path forward, that we've armed them with the tools and perspectives, and most importantly, the questions to help navigate that.